guys, what's going on? Just want to give my thoughts on Nick Richards declaring for the NBA draft. He just announced this on his Twitter account, saying that he's entering the draft and also signing with an agent. My initial thoughts on this are half of me is very disappointed and upset, while the other half completely understands his decision making on this. Nick Richards is a guy that's been here 3 years and has definitely had a roller coaster of a career with Kentucky. Throughout his first couple of seasons, there was times where us as fans were like, when is he going to come through? And honestly, is he hurting us more than he's helping us out there? He was a guy that I was really worried about possibly transferring, if not just taking another option, maybe playing overseas. But he stuck it out, and in his junior year, it was one of the most impressive improvements from freshman to junior years I've ever seen in any sport. While obviously not many players at Kentucky stay for 3 years, it's definitely one of the biggest evolutions I've seen from a freshman to junior standpoint. This past season, Nick Richards in his junior year averaged 14 points per game, which is tied for second on the team in scoring overall. He also grabbed about 8 rebounds per game and blocked about a little over 2 shots per game as well. He had so many great games, especially from the early parts of the season until about late January, that Texas Tech game. The best 2 performances, in my opinion, from this past season were he put up 25 points, grabbed 14 rebounds, and had 4 blocked shots at Texas Tech, and was one of the main reasons that we won that game. He also put up 21 points, grabbed 12 rebounds, and blocked 4 shots at home against Missouri, where he actually scored 19 points himself in the first half and was the only person actually scoring in that first half, besides Quickly and someone else maybe. And without him, we probably lose that game. A couple other solid performances I wanted to touch on really quick was at home against Louisville. He put up 13 huge points, a lot of those points coming in the second half, and he grabbed 10 rebounds as well. And then he also put up 27 points at home against Mississippi State as well. So I'd say as far as his strongest skills go as a basketball player going pro now, I believe those things probably are his shot blocking ability. He was absolutely a force down low, blocking shots all season long. Great rim protector. He's 6'11", just about 7 foot. He also, another strength in my opinion, is his improved post play. There was times where he hit hook shots, he had post moves that were unguardable. There was a play his sophomore year, I remember, against North Carolina early in the year. He went to his left shoulder and put it in with his right hand. That shot's unguardable if he does that every time. You could look at any hook shot he made. His improved post play throughout his career is something that I think a lot of scouts will notice and want to have on their team. And the biggest thing, in my opinion, is his developed outside shot. This is something that I really started to notice in his sophomore year, specifically in the Bahamas games. He had a nice outside shot against, I forget who it was against, but it was in that Bahamas, one of those Bahamas games, and it really just made me see that he can shoot shots. There was times where I'm like, I think he can shoot threes, and he just about hit a 3 against Ohio State, but I think his foot was on the line. But yeah, I think his outside shot's something that a lot of NBA teams are going to want to have on their team, because it's not just a shot blocker and a rim runner, but it's also a outside shooter, and not many bigs can say that, but that's honestly where the game's going in a lot of ways. Areas I think that Nick Richards can improve as a player, especially going to the NBA now, is his hook shot. I kind of touched on that before. Now, obviously, his post play is improved, but there's a lot of times, especially late in the year, where I can't pinpoint exactly when it started, but he was having a hard time having that hook shot, little baby hook, go in. In fact, until that Florida game at the end of the year, that last game, I'm not sure if he really had a hook shot that I can really remember. They would always be short, and I think that's something that he could really clean up as a player, and I think he obviously will as he works at it. That's one area I think that he could improve on. Another area I think that Nick Richards could improve on is picking up a little more weight and adding some strength in the offseason. I was going to say that if he returned, that's the same thing. Looking at who he might have to go up against in the NBA, he is pretty big. He's 6'11", 247 pounds, but in my opinion, he needs to be a little bit bigger, because there was times where he was getting a little bit pushed around down there. A little less this season, but especially the last 2 years, there was guys just absolutely shoving him out of the way, and for almost 7-footer, he needs to be a little bit tougher and stronger down there if he wants to be able to last in the NBA against some of those absolute forces in there. That's probably the 2 areas that he could improve as a player, but overall, I really appreciate a guy like Nick Richards sticking around. A former 5-star recruit out of high school, stuck around 3 seasons, especially after that sophomore year where his minutes dipped, his points per game dipped, his rebounds dipped, all that stuff went down. It's really impressive to see a guy stick it out. Like he said in his press release here that he put on his Twitter, after that Texas Tech game, he made a great comment saying how everyone's on their own path and he's on this path. Hopefully this inspires a lot of guys to see that it doesn't just have to be a one and done strategy. You can stay 3 years. Obviously, I wish Nick Richards would have stayed 1 more year, complete his whole career at Kentucky for 1 more year for his senior season, but I totally understand this decision that he made. He had a great season for overall. Honestly, he was probably one of the best players on the team before it quickly kind of surpassed him as far as the leader goes. He was at one point the favorite to win the SEC Player of the Year. For my NBA player comparison for Nick Richards, I'd have to say it would have to go to Jarrett Allen. I see both those guys as great rim protectors, rim runners, but one area that I think Nick Richards has Jarrett Allen is his outside jump shot. I'm not sure, I could be wrong on this, but I don't think Jarrett Allen is a great outside shooter, where Nick Richards I think is a much better shooter. And in that regard. So yeah, Nick Richards has decided to go to the NBA. I understand it. I'm obviously frustrated. I definitely wish him nothing but the best. Like I said, he's been here 3 years. I was lucky enough to give him a high five after one of the games. I believe it was the UAB game this year. He's big Blue Nation family for life, and we'll always be rooting him on. So where we're at right now with our team for going to the next season is we're really just waiting on one more player from last year's team in EJ Montgomery. We're also waiting on 5-star power forward Greg Brown, who will be deciding on April 24th, which is in just about 10 days from today. We'll be doing a live stream on this channel for that. Now, while I don't really feel too great about that recruitment, it's one of our only options left right now because we have to add another big, in my opinion. And then we're also waiting on Matt Harms, who obviously we're in his top 10. He just cut his list to 10 teams this past Saturday, and we're still on that list. And that would be a major addition now, especially after losing Nick Richards. So as far as our bigs go for next season, we have Keenan Brooks, who just decided to return last week. That's one player returning. Then you have the 3 freshmen coming in, and Cameron Fletcher, who's a small forward, Lance Ware, who's a power forward, and Isaiah Jackson, who's a power forward as well. I have question marks around Dante Allen because obviously he's a small forward and he should be returning, but I've not heard anything out of his Twitter or his mouth out of any interview. So I'm not listening to anyone besides him because I'm tired of getting excited for guys to come back just to hear that they're not coming back. So while I expect them 100% to come back, I'm not putting anything but question marks around that until I see it for sure. If you include Dante Allen, that's 5 bigs, and really none of those guys are a center in my opinion. Lance Ware might be the more I watch him, but I've only seen high school tape of him and AAU stuff. So yeah, right now that's where we're at. I'm hoping we can add it. We have to add at least one more big. One of those 3 I just showed before. It'd be awesome if we get 2 of them. We get EJ Montgomery, Matt Harms, or EJ Montgomery, Greg Brown, or Greg Brown, Matt Harms. One of those, 2 of those 3 would be awesome, but we got to get at least one. We just have to. But that's where we're at right now. I'll keep you guys up to date with player decisions coming the next few days. We're still waiting on those 3, like I said. Thanks for watching the video, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Go Big Blue.
Richards, who in the F? Wait, what are you doing? That's a flaw!